Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 17, episode 9, and we're back today as planned for the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final, as we look to continue our run where we've gone further than ever before and chase that elusive big trophy. Just one more left to go. We play Real Madrid in the second leg after a brilliant first leg result at the Bernabeu, so we're certainly the favourites to get through at this point, and we've just got to get the job done. The last four will surely get even more difficult, as we're pretty much out of the title race now, so Europe is going to be the big one for us, as the domestic season hasn't quite gone to plan. If you're not sure why the title race looks as it does, and you want to see the highlights of our FA Cup semi-final, then do go back and catch up with the last episode, where we played our double header against Arsenal. In two domestic competitions, they were certainly a stern test, but we're now coming back to European football, and the toughest names of them all. So Real Madrid in the quarter-final is going to be a tough one, but I very quickly wanted to show you our profile. We've got 20 now, the perfect score for both man management and motivation, and it almost looks like we're turning into Sir Alex Ferguson, not doing a great amount on the training ground, but when it comes to working with the players and getting them ready for match day, we seem to be absolutely excellent. But let's very quickly go and look at the two games off camera. The one quick thing I will say on this screen as well, actually, Matt Butcher's now in our best opinion. He's been managing Accrington and was assistant at Bishop Stortford, and you may remember him from playing centre midfield for us back in the League 2 to Championship days. But let's get back to that schedule then. Only the two games off camera since the last episode, where we played Arsenal in a double header. The FA Cup semi-final was of course a memorable game, but then we played Real Madrid in the first leg at the Bernabeu, and that one became even more special. Two goals from Omar, who always turns up on the big occasion. He's been an absolutely wonderful signing, and I can't remember exactly how much we paid for him. £13.5 million it was, and what an unbelievable deal that's been. He's become one of the key players of this Torquay side. We then rested everyone at the weekend in a league game against Fulham, and we narrowly escaped with a 3-2 victory. We were a bit worried at half-time as we were 1-0 down, but Rutherford, Kozil and Yaladian with the goals off the bench, and then Torquay got one back in stoppage time, but we just about clung on for the 3 points. So we play at home to Real Madrid today. Just Diogo Sousa missing out. They've got one injured as well, as we're the favourites to get through to the final. A 2-0 win away from home means we can afford to lose by one, and as long as we manage to get a goal here, we're almost certainly going to be favourites, as Real Madrid will then need 3 to get through. So let's go and look at the lineup, see the players we're putting out to face the Galacticos today. Again, we're playing on the same night as PSG, but this time they've got a bit of a deficit. They've got to overturn a 2-1 first leg defeat against Bayern Munich, and that shows you the calibre of opponent we could face, as well as Borussia Dortmund and Spurs, who are already through to the semi-finals. So it is certainly going to be a very big end to the season, with these games and the FA Cup final coming up, but the Torquay United stadium is packed as you would expect for a home game against the Galacticos. Let's see the 11 we're putting out. There's no surprises in there, I can assure you of that. It's Djanovic in goal, Cura and Moraes the fullbacks, McDonald and Singi in the middle. Anyone surprised by any of the names here? Bakenez, Omar and Keita the midfield three, Yaladian and Sigler on the wings, and then Andrade up front on his own, as he's now past 20 for the season, the achievement he managed to reach in the last episode. Zatinho takes the place on the bench of Sousa, just a slightly more defensive one if we need it. We're going to stick with our normal mentality for now. I was tempted to drop to balance and bring the pressure on to counter, but I don't want to risk conceding, whether that be territory for most of the game or goals that put us under pressure. So let's go and get into it with this lineup. We'll stick with that positive mentality, and fingers crossed it'll be enough to get us over the line, as it'd be some bad defeat to throw it away from here. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Real Madrid, and look who they've got starting up front again. It's Sekou Touré, who we tried to sign so many times. We identified him at Marseille as a wonder kid at 15 or 16. He's gone to Real Madrid and he's been a superstar for them. Just proves it would have been right if we'd signed him. Unfortunately it wasn't to be, so he's scoring goals for them, but he didn't manage to do anything in the first leg, and hopefully the same will be the case today. They've got Quinio on the bench as centre half, a player we again tried to sign signed from Arsenal once before. I think we were looking at him at Atletico as well, but in the end the deal never materialised, and now he's sitting on the bench for Madrid. But it doesn't matter today, as long as we get through, we'll have the last laugh in this one. Let's go and talk to the lads and tell them to prove a point. You know Stuart Jelling loves that team talk. It's always his favourite, and the defensive lads are motivated as we're prepared to deal with the injury to Sousa. Any player had missed their young centre-half, but I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine. They're a team that have got brilliant backup players, and the fact Quino's still on the bench with a big centre-half injured shows they must be a pretty decent side. They've got a big squad, and I'm sure they can cope, as Stojanovic hacks the ball long downfield, and the highlight ends with a minute gone. No pressure on us yet so far. 15 minutes gone, it's a throw on the right for Madrid. Rafael and Rivero play the 1-2. Cura heads away on the edge of the box. Good win in the end as it's back into the box. But Rafael heads it comfortably wide. We can deal with those ones all day. I'm pretty sure Cura came from Madrid last summer, did he? He did. He joined us in the summer from Real Madrid. Only made one league appearance this season, but 24 last year. So he is a really decent player for them, and he's going to be coming up against his former club here. Did in the first leg as well, of course, but I was so selfish and worried about the game that I didn't even look at the situation he was in. His Keita on the edge of the box though, headed away from a cross, and it just fell for him nicely, but he puts it wide of the post, and although there have been a few shots in this game so far, none of them have really been clear chances. I say as Torquay runs in behind everyone, but his shot isn't the best, and Stojanovic saves comfortably, tips it behind for a corner kick. Gruz will take it and outswinger. Stojanovic comes and claims it brilliantly though, flying through there like Superman, and he rolls it out quick to Nsingi as Keita brings it over halfway. Andrade's up with him, but he goes back to Yaladian. Now Omar inside to Bacanes, but the highlight ends and it's still 0-0. Madrid dominating possession, but as they've got the corner it's still 0-0. Omar gets it as he's headed away by Cura. Andrade flicks it on as far as Rivero, but unfortunately Madrid are back in possession, and maybe we will have to be slightly more conservative. I say as Yaladian's won it back though, he switches it to Silla who tries to cross, blocked to Omar who has another go. Scored the brace in the first leg to put us in control, but this one goes wide and it remains 0-0 on the night and comfortably 2-0 on aggregate. PSG and Bayern are drawing in the other game, still 2-1 on aggregate to Bayern there, so it could be two English and German sides in the semis, though Gruz has got a free kick to try and change that. Cura heads away to the edge of the box. Knockdown for Pedro for Real Madrid. Roman out to the right hand side to Gruz. He cuts inside to Rafael. Good effort and a brilliant save Stojanovic. Reflexes to his left to tip it wide, and Madrid continue to dominate the corner count as Pedro heads it in. It might even be an own goal for Silla. He tried to clear it off the line, but it ended up bobbling in. Terrible bit of defending from the winger. It's Bacanes from the kick-off to Moraes, and we are going to have to drop our mentality here. We're getting overrun in certain areas, and we've got to be a little more careful. Silla to Moraes on the byline though. Into Yaladian who heads it just over. That could have been an instant reply for us, but with 5 to the break it's still 1-0. That means Real Madrid only need one, and they'll be able to take us to extra time in the tie. That's half time then, not the way we were planning for this to go, and we could yet throw it away from here. We're going to aggressively tell the lads we're disappointed, and all but Stojanovic are fired up by that. We're going to drop our fullbacks, I think, are we? We're going to put them on defensive duties possibly. I'm not sure what the best move is at this point. They seem to be getting overrun on the wings. We're giving away a lot of free kicks out there, so I can only assume they're getting caught out of position, so we're going to drop them to defensive fullbacks. Omar's going to drop to a support duty as well, something he does pretty comfortably, and we're going to drop to a balanced mentality to make sure we don't get caught out in possession. We dropped our tempo before anyway, so we shouldn't be losing the ball so often, but we may have to go more attacking as that results and just go long towards Andrade. Moraes with a brilliant challenge on the left, his new duty working well for him, and with 5 gone in the second half it's still 1-0 on the night, and we maintain that narrow aggregate lead. Omar's been booked and we've got to tell him to ease off the tackle, but with almost an hour gone, we're edging closer to a semi-final place. 20 minutes to go, it's time for changes. Been a really dull second half, which isn't the worst thing for us. Keita's got a poor rating, 6.4, so Dimitri Lapin's going to come on for him. Up front, Andrade's apprehensive. Lee Rutherford can come on there. Yaladian's in the same position on the right, but with Sousa injured, we don't have a replacement. So we'll give it 10 more minutes with just the 2 subs, and then we can make one a bit later if we need to. 12 minutes to go, Rivera with a throw on the right. First highlight of the second half really, and Singy heads it away to Roman, who's going to get it wide to the left. He cuts it inside to Gruce and now Quino. Finds Aguilera and now Rafael. 25 yards out, they're building pressure. The shot's blocked though and it's back to Stojanovic. He hacks it long downfield. We really are clinging on for dear life. Silla with his own goal on a 6.5 now. Daniel Kozol, the experienced campaigner, on for him. He often scores goals off the bench as well. We're not going to ask him for that today, but if he could it would see the tie beyond doubt. Rivera with a throw on the right hand side. Plays a 1-2 with Quino. Alonso in and Stojanovic claims strongly. He was under pressure there from the left winger, but he did just enough to claim it. He's got the ball on the edge of the box and he's taking his time. Long kick over finds Rutherford. He's in and shoots and Ruiz makes the save. Could have been a brilliant moment to wrap up the tie and Rutherford could have been the hero again, but it wasn't to be as it's now a corner. Omar into the back post and he's headed away by Quino, and now we've got another one from the other side. Omar's going to deliver the outswinger. In towards McDonnell again. He loses in the air as it's headed away. Lappin brings it down for McDonnell though, and he finds Baccanes who's returning back. 5 minutes to go and it's 1-0 on the night, and one goal could change everything here. Rivero finds Carlos Alberto for Madrid, shoots from distance onto the roof of the net, and it's time for our tactical changes now. Time wasting all the time. Be more disciplined, play for set pieces, and in transition we'll slow it down and hold our shape, with no intent and need to get forward. We'll drop our line of engagement and not stop them playing it out short. We just want to protect our own half now. They can keep possession in their own area. It's Alonso with a throw on the left hand side. Rutherford nicks it high up the pitch. Yeladian to Lappin who can switch it here, but he lays it back to Omar who finds Baccanes. Surely will eventually get it wide, and Singy to the right to Yeladian. He's taking on his man, but he's been challenged, and now Real Madrid are going to counter. We didn't want to lose possession there, as it's out to Mendy on the right hand side. Brilliant work from Omar, but Mendy still got possession. Back inside to Carlos Alberto. Gru's in the box, scores at the second attempt. Stojanovic made a brilliant save, but the rebound was always going to be put in, as Cura the right back didn't react at all. So all those tactical changes have to come off, as we now prepare for extra time, and we've got to get back in our heads that we need to win this game, something that's not going to be easy the way we're playing. 2-0 on the night for Real Madrid, and the Galacticos have caused us all sorts of trouble. Stojanovic has been the man of the match for us, despite the fact we're 2-0 down, and it shows how much they've dominated this game, as we're now under pressure for a winner. Alberto's got the ball 25 yards out. Rivero's going to try and deliver. It's a good challenge, Moraes, and Omar can clear. Can Rutherford be our hero? He's got it down the left hand side here. Chance to deliver, it's blocked for a corner, and it's going to be the last chance of the match, but we're not going to see the corner. Surely that means it's going to be 2-0, and we're about to face extra time here. It's Kozol on the left with 15 seconds. What a time it would be to score, but I don't think it's going to come, unfortunately, as we keep possession in the middle. Omar to Baccanes. We're going backwards here, but he finds Lappin. Back into the right back Cura. Can we just get the ball in the box? We've got to create a chance here. Baccanes to Omar, shoots just wide of the post from 30 yards, and we're about to face extra time. This is going to be very nervy. Bayern Munich are comfortably through in the other one. We're going to go and talk to the lads, and we can only say the same as at half time. We're so disappointed with the way we've played in this game. No real intensity or desire to win. We're back to our positive mentality though, and we're actually going to push the fullbacks up again, because it's not really made much of a difference having them more defensive. Their ratings are still just as poor. Yeladian delivers, it's a poor cross in, and Ruiz is able to bring it down. I wonder if we've got a fourth sub actually, as Cura's really struggled. Richard Quirk we wanted to bring on, but only 3 subs despite the extra time in the Champions League. They're not enabling us to have a fourth. Moraes with a long throw into the box. Doesn't go anywhere, just finds Pedro. He clears long downfield for Gruce, who scored that equaliser in the game. The cross is blocked and Baccanes clears, but it's aimless strike back to Madrid. Rivero's got it a right back on halfway. Roman finds Carlos Alberto. It's relentless pressure from the away side. Mendy's ball in and Cura's has missed it again. What a ridiculously poor game he's had. Cruz puts it in his 3-2 Madrid, and we might as well just go all out attack. We're getting absolutely mullered every time they come forward, and we've got to try and find something out of this game, though I'm not quite sure how we do that. Rutherford with a free header and Ruiz saves, but Pedro Cura has cost us the match. Against his former club, he's been overrun by Cruz, and I don't know if he's a particularly good player. He is an elite winger at 32, but he certainly gifted him a few chances. That last one he just missed a basic header. There was no pressure on him at all, and that means at half time in extra time, this has turned into a Champions League nightmare. From 2-0 up after the away leg, we're now 3-2 down after 105 minutes, and we couldn't have expected this to happen at the start. Our Champions League dream will be over for another year. Raphael's got to be closed down with 5 more minutes left, and we've gone very attacking. We can't do much more other than increase our tempo yet further. It's Real Madrid with a throw on the left hand side. Been a brilliant game of football from Madrid. They've been absolutely sensational, but this has been one of our weakest performances. Again, we've got the little glitch there to make the changes after the goal. Even though there hasn't been a goal, it just counts any in extra time. Rutherford to Lappin, just 1 more minute left now, maybe a little bit of stoppage time as well, and Yoladian's conceded possession for the umpteenth time. He's been really poor in this match. I'm not quite sure how he's got a 6.8. The lads are flat out on their feet. They've been chasing the ball around for most of the game, and although we've had one clear-cut chance apiece on the night, Real Madrid comfortably lead 3-0. And that's the problem with the mistakes from Cura, and Moraes made one as well on the other side. We no longer have that ability to take our chances because Real Madrid have just been gifted half ones. Yoladian again crosses it into the arms of the keeper, and that's just a sign it won't be our night. Though hang on a minute, Rutherford was in. How is that a throw-in? It looked a foul. Came across him and didn't win the ball, but the referee decides it isn't. The last ball into the box is a long throw for Moraes. It's headed away and the whistle will surely go. We're going to remarkably throw this away. We led 2-0 after the away leg, and we have thrown it away 3-0 at the Torquay Stadium. Real Madrid a very good side, but this is a night that's turned into a nightmare. Omar and Bakken is keeping possession. No one wanted to get it forward, and a lack of bottle was shown on this occasion. The ultimate Champions League bottle job. It's a 3-0 defeat on the night, 3-2 on aggregate, and now we're going to be knackered for the weekend as well, as the lads are motivated by the disappointing performance. Of course that team talk could show positives, but we did the same thing at half time and full time, and neither of those got a response either. So we won't focus on too much else other than that awful performance. We were 1 minute away from getting through, but Pedro Cura with 2 mistakes and the world-class wingers took advantage. The defeat in the quarter-final means that trophy eludes us for another year. We do gain another 9 million, but maybe we've got to improve the fullbacks again. We'll deal with the press conference off camera, but if we go to the competition screen, there's the confirmation. We're out of the Champions League. We're remarkably knocked out in the quarter-final by Real Madrid. Despite winning 2-0 in the first leg at the Bernabeu, we've managed to fall at the Torquay Stadium. So all of our focus goes on to that FA Cup final now. A big one against City, who are having a disappointing season, and it's probably our last chance to win a trophy actually. We could have a trophy this season for the first time in a few, after a really disappointing display in Europe on the night. If we go to the schedule, we can now attack the Premier League again, though our lads may be knackered for the United game. After that we've got 4 relatively friendly games on paper, and 3 of them are at home as well. Though tonight we proved that may mean nothing, so we're going to need Arsenal to slip up. But presuming that doesn't happen and Arsenal win the league, we will be back for one more episode this season, and it'll be that FA Cup final at the end, a chance for us to avoid a trophyless season against a very tough opponent in Manchester City. If of course anything changes in the meantime, we will be back for a league game, but I'm not sure that's going to happen at this stage, so I think we'll see you for the cup final. But if you did enjoy this episode and seeing us bottle it against Real Madrid, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Of course it's partly my fault, we were talking as if we were through, but you can't expect to throw away a game like that after dominating the away leg at the Bernabeu. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the display and where it all went wrong. Am I being too hard on the fullbacks? I know Silla scored an own goal, but in terms of the general performance, it's where almost every chance came from. How do I rectify it more importantly? I don't feel like we can buy left-sided and right-sided midfielders just to play more defensively in Europe. Surely we can't do that for 5 games a season, and we have to find a way to get by here. In the away legs we've been absolutely brilliant, and at home we've struggled a little bit more, but I think this was just a poor night at the office and a lack of bottle from a few of our players. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story. We'll have episodes every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30, and then on Saturday we'll have announcements about FM20, so keep your eyes peeled in that slot over the next few weeks, as we will have reactions to announcements, as well as some ideas for our series. We've got our long-term One Club series planned, and a few of our challenges as well. There'll also be a couple of votes involved in that, so do come along and give me your thoughts and opinions, as you will be able to help shape the content on this channel, particularly in 2020. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone who continues to support that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough beforehand. I really have appreciated the support with both, and can't thank you enough for giving them a try. And then finally we've got our Snooker 19 career. That's on Fridays at 4:30. It'll continue until we're knocked out at the last event of the series, and that's the big one, the season-ending World Championships. We're trying to emulate Ronnie O'Sullivan and go all the way, and we'll have action from every round until our departure. But a massive thanks for watching this one and joining me for the disappointment. We can only apologise for the performance and hope it improves next season. We've probably got 2 more years to win the Champions League, otherwise it could be the one thing that eludes us, so hopefully we'll be able to go on a run in the next couple, but for next time we'll be focusing on the FA Cup final. I hope you'll come and join me tomorrow for that, as we try to make sure we get a trophy out of this season.